Welcome back to the channel everyone. In this video we'll be discussing about variables in Python. So without wasting any time, let's start with the video. Now what are variables? Basically variables are the containers that are used in order to store some data values. Now how do we create a variable? In order to create a variable, we have to assign a value to it. Once we have assigned a value, a variable will be created. So in order to understand, let's see an example. Here you can see we have a box. Now this box is a container that can store some data. Now what kind of data can it store? Now you can imagine this data as a value. Now how do we create a variable? You can see here I have listed the syntax. So this is how you can create a variable. At the very first you will write the variable name and we will have this equal to operator. Now basically this is called as assignment operator. What it will do is it will assign the value to this variable. Let me show you with an example here. At the very bottom you can see my age is equal to 24. Now imagine this box is a variable. It will have a variable name. So we can give a variable name here. For example, let's consider the first example, my age. So this my age will be the variable name and 24 the value. It will be stored inside this box. Now in order to store this value inside the variable, we will use an assignment operator, which is also called equal to. And these values can be of like integer. So integers are basically the whole numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and etc. These are whole numbers, and we can also store percentages. For example, here we have my percentage. So this my percentage is the variable name and we are assigning 95.6 inside this my percentage variable. Got it? And we can also store some string data. So it can be like my name Ashok Joshi, it can be a single word, it can be a single character, it can be a sentence, but it should be wrapped inside either double quotes or either single quote. So that's how you can create a variable. Now let me show you some of the rules to declare a variable. Variable name cannot start with numbers. So this kind of example here in the screen, these are not allowed in order to declare a variable. You cannot declare numbers at the very start of the variable. A variable name cannot have spaces. However, we can use underscore in a variable to separate multiple words. Now here in the screen, you can see this is a kind of variable name. Now these kind of variable names are definitely not allowed. What you can do here is you can use an underscore in order to separate multiple words if you want to declare a variable. Now if you are declaring a variable, you cannot use these symbols. It is considered best practice that names are in lowercase. Now in programming languages, we use something which is called as keywords. Now these keywords are built-in keywords that will have a special meaning. For example, list, int and str, these are some of the built-in keywords that we cannot use in order to define a variable. What will happen if we use this list, int and str? Basically this will throw us an error. We cannot use these kind of keywords in order to declare a variable. Luckily we are using IDEs, and these IDEs will basically display the inbuilt keywords in a different color so that we can come to know that if we are declaring a variable, we should not use these inbuilt keywords as a variable name. Now let me tell you, Python is a dynamically typed language. We can reassign variables to different types. Basically these different types are the values that we can store. This makes Python different than other statically typed languages. Let's see with an example. Now in the screen we can see my mark is equal to 95. So this is how you can declare a variable. We are assigning an integer data type to my mark variable. And below that we are reassigning a different data type which is called as list. So basically it is having different numbers 95, 91, 94, 93.3, which is totally okay in Python. Now if we do this in a statically typed languages, we will get error. Now in other statically typed languages, in order to declare an integer variable, you will have to use a keyword which is called as int prefix to the variable name, and you will have to give only integer data type. For example, here I have given 95. And we cannot reassign any string value to this particular variable. So this will give you an error if you are using Java or C++ languages, which is totally okay in Python. And that is the difference between a statically typed language and dynamically typed language. Alright, let's explore these concepts and let's open idle. Alright, we have opened up idle. Let's declare some variables. Let me start with a simple example. I will declare x equal to 5. So basically I am assigning this 5 inside this x variable. And if I hit enter, notice now we are not getting any output. That's because we are not printing anything. So in order to display what is there inside this x variable, just write x and enter. Now we can see we are getting 5. Now let's change the value of this variable, or we can say let's reassign this variable. So what I will do is I will reassign this x into some value that is 5.5. So if I hit enter, I should not get any error. Okay, that means that this 5.5 is assigned to this x variable, and if I hit x and enter, I should get 5.5 here. Now let's change the data type. So here we used 5.5 as a value. Now let's use string here. For example, my name is a variable name, and what I will do is I will assign a string here. So we saw how to write strings, right? So we enclose the string inside double quotes, or you can also give single quotes here. I am writing double quotes. It doesn't matter. You can write single quote or double quotes. And if I hit enter, I should not get anything. So that is perfectly fine. And the string value is now stored inside this my name variable. So if I hit my underscore name, I should get my name here, which is Ashok Joshi. Now let's do something which is tricky. So what I will do is I will assign x equal to x plus 5. Now pause the video and think what will be the output. I hope you guys got the output. Let's try here. And if I hit enter and x and after this enter, I should see 10.5 here. Now let's see why we are getting this 10.5 here. Now let me tell you, Python is an interpreted language. Whatever the code you write, it will get interpreted from the first line. And whatever the values that you give, it will be interpreted from top to bottom. Now here we are getting 10.5. So how we are getting 10.5 here? So we declared x is equal to 5 here. So in the x we will be having 5 as a value. And later we reassign the same variable x with the value of 5.5, and we got 5.5 here, right? So this x will be having 5.5 value. Now later what we did was we used this x which was having 5.5 here. Now what happened was this x which was having 5.5 value, the latest one, it got added to 5, and that was stored inside this x variable. Okay, so that's how we got 10.5 here. Fairly simple. Now let's do something new. Let me declare num1 as a new variable and let me assign 10 here. Now let me declare another variable which is num2 is equal to 20. And what I will do is I will declare another variable which is add, and what I will do is I will assign num1 plus num2 here. And if I hit enter, I should not get anything. And if I write add here and enter, I should get 30 here. So basically what happened was this num1 will store 10, num2 will store 20. So what this add variable will do is it will take 10 plus 20 and it will store inside this add variable, and that's how we got 30 here once we wrote add and enter. So you see we can now perform logic using variables. Alright, that's it for this video, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys have liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up and share it with others so that others might get some benefit. Subscribe to my channel in case you are new, and I will see you in the next video. So till then, bye bye, take care.